Hi wrestling fans, thanks for clicking on the dreaded D-Rose report. Former ECW star Chris Hemrick reportedly attempted suicide on July 13th at his home in North Carolina. On his Facebook, he wrote, "Big announcement tonight, stay tuned, it's to die for." And then later he wrote, "Hey world, I just took 25 sleeping pills, good night." Hemrick also reportedly sent several strange text messages to friends before authorities were notified and sent to his home. Hemrick is reportedly getting the help that he needs from his friends and family. My big question, where were they before? Instead of let it get that far. Anyway, that's from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Tomorrow's Money in the Bank pay-per-view looks like this. Let me know who you think's going to be the winners. Give me some comments. Who's going to win the steel cage match, WWE title? Sheamus or Cena? World title heavyweight match, Swagger or Mysterio? Money in the Bank ladder match going to be Edge versus Ted DiBiase versus Randy Orton versus Chris Jericho versus John Morrison. Evan Bourne versus Miz and Mark Henry. Who's going to win out of that bunch? Money in the Bank ladder match, the other one, Kane versus Big Show, Christian, Kofi Kingston, Cody Rhodes, Matt Hardy, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre. Ooh! Unified tag titles. It's going to be Usos or Hart Dynasty women's title. It's going to be Kelly or Layla. Divas title match, Eve Torres or Alicia Fox. Who's going to be the winners? Who's going to be the best at predicting? I'll give my predictions probably Monday. WWE Superstars Thursday night, 0.74 cable rating with about 800,000 viewers. Replay did about 214,000 viewers with a 0.24. Scott Hall is staying through the weekend in the hospital. Hopefully test be in Monday and should be released probably next week sometime, maybe the first half of the week. Tony Atlas, Stan Hansen also have wrestling books in the works. Atlas, of course, now working as a personal trainer at a health spa in Maine. Jerry Lawler was on Fox Business the other day, probably about the deal he's got cooking down in Memphis restaurant. Okay, kind of strange. From the Will from Will from Rochester, it says, the current issue of Horror Magazine, Rue Morgue, is at ruemorgue.com, by the way, has an article about horror wrestlers. Not horrible, horror. And it's got an article on Undertaker, Papa Shango, Abdullah the Butcher, and many others that are covered. And there's full-page interviews with Gangrel and feedback from Sinister Minister. There's a dual brand show Saturday night, Omaha, at their iQuest Theater or Quest Theater Center, and there should be a good show. I mean, good long one. It's a dual brand. Also, it's a house show. Former Intercontinental Champion John Morrison is on the cover. Of course, I told you about the latest Muscle Fitness magazine with a story about on his abs and training. I do the same training, and my abs just don't look like that. I don't know why. And anyway, of course, the article on SummerSlam. Accompanying his photo spread in the magazine, Morrison is the 5th WWE superstar to grace the cover of the popular magazine, following Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, Vince McMahon, and Batista. Several WWE divas also posed for the shoots in the past. While doing shots, the People's stamped himself. The Rock was at the same Gold's Gym and went to check out the photos on his laptop. He says, "How can we make you more manly?" exclaimed The Rock, and the magazine hit the stands on the Monday. Don't remember that. Back, wrestling fans. The second semester of Nick Densmore's pro wrestling training class begins July 27th, or Eugene. Anyway, you can sign up as spaces are limited. He's down south, I believe, in Louisville. Just go to ovwrestling.com, click on school. Impact, don't know anything about the prices or whatever, but my son went there and learned a lot on wrestling. Impact scored a 1.1 cable rating, and we should know more details later about it. I haven't seen about the hourly breakdown, but that's good. They're back up where they were on Thursday anyway. Bobby Lashley's next step up the MMA ladder will become up against Chad Griggs as his opponent. Strikeforce officials confirmed MMA fight for Lashley will take place on Griggs's at the Homecoming Strikeforce Houston show August. Lashley, by the way, is 5-0. And if he stays injured longer, he's still be 5-0 for quite a while. He gets over that. Anyways, former pro wrestler said he transitioned to mixed martial arts in 2008. Says so far his career progress has been gradual, with wins over veterans like Jason Gaida, Bob Sapp, and most recently Wes Sims. All right, we got a little bit of trivia, or not trivia, but history for you. July 17th, in 1983, Ron Garvin defeated Iron Sheik to win the NWA National Television Championship. In 1994, a mere 11 years later, highlights from the first WCW Bash at the Beach. Lord Steven Regal, remember him, defeated Johnny B. Bad, remember him, to retain the World Television title. We had tag team was Pretty Wonderful, remember them? Paul Roma, Paul Orndorff, defeated Cactus Jack and Kevin Sullivan to win the tag titles. Steve Austin defeated Ricky Steamboat to retain the U.S. title. Hulk Hogan, in his WCW debut, defeated Ric Flair to become the new WCW World Champion. All right, in 2002, AJ Styles defeated Low Key to retain the X Division. 2007, on ECW, Johnny Nitro announced that he was changing his name to John Morrison. Thank you. And today's birthdays: Mike Knox, born 1978. Daphne, born 1975. Please do your math. All right, ROH Wrestling, by the way, message board. I haven't done anything too much on Ring of Honor because I don't get it on my cable channel, and I really haven't watched it on TV. But anyway, here's a little bit of a pre-show that's going on HDNet. Bobby Dempsey. Well, wait a minute. Hang on. Let me get on down to the bottom here before I run out. I'll go back up soon before I run out of time. There's a meet and greet Chris Jericho Monday, July 17th, 2 p.m. FYE in Tulsa Promenade, 4100 South Yale Avenue. Friday, July 23rd, Pasadena Town Square, Pasadena, Texas, 4 p.m. I love these weird names that you don't hear, very often. Kenny King versus Delirious. Austin Aries versus Delirious is announced, only to have Aries come out and claim he's sick and the King will have to take his place. So Kenny King wins via roll-up over following the shotgun knees. King gains the advantage and full distraction by Aries, which led to the finish. TV main event: Jay Briscoe defeated Claudio Castagnoli with a quick pin. Hero runs out to attack Jay afterwards, and Mark is out to save, prompting a fight. Anyway, the second main event for the TV is Mark Briscoe over Chris Hero after a backslide. Title Black comes out and cuts a promo about the fans. King are kind of confused by the text that says, seeking clarification, nothing about fans of his. It was fans of others and fans of no one. I don't know what they were talking about, so if you see it on TV, all right. Necro Butcher, by the way, took on Skull Crusher and declared a no contest after Embassy interfered. Non-title special challenge match, ROH champion Tyler Black defeated Christopher Daniels, ends in a time limit draw. Most likely it's a hell of a good match. They usually are. I don't know if I'm out of time yet or not. Daisy Hayes defeated Taylor with a heart punch followed by a kick to the right. Anyway, Colt Cabana was on there, Jerry Lynn, Brett Titus, Alex Anthony, and hey, I gotta go.